Water is key to agriculture, but while rainfall is the most important free source of water, farmers use only a small part of it. On sloping land, most of the precious rainfall runs down the slope. Not only is this water lost to farmers' crops, it also washes away fertile topsoil. At the start of the rainy season, the first rains hit the soil with great force, and while the runoff water carries fine soil particles, it also seals the soil surface. Once the soil is compacted, the next rain flows even faster over the surface, and hardly any water infiltrates into the soil. In the semi-arid savannas, where rainfall is limited and highly unpredictable, retaining more water in the soil can make the difference between a poor and a good harvest. You can slow down the runoff water by establishing contour bunds. Contour bunds are permanent ridges of earth that follow positions located at the same altitude. For over 20 years, farmers in Burkina Faso and Mali have made contour bunds in their fields on rolling land with less than a 5% slope. The water that comes from far and that flows with force is blocked by the bunds. That is why the soil drinks lots of water. In some parts of the field, it was impossible to sow anything. But as we learn to make bunds, the fields accept all. When it rains, the water stays for 3 days and the soil remains humid. Growing rice has become possible, and we harvest more millet than before. As contour bunds improve water infiltration in the soil, you can sow your crop immediately after the first rains. Seeds will germinate well, and seedlings will suffer less from periods of drought. Before, the soils dried up quickly within a few days following a rain, but now with the installation of the bunds, you will see that the soil is much more humid and soft. A small rain is enough, which means that we can sow earlier. In areas where drought is a frequent problem, contour bunds have reduced farmers' fear of crop loss. Contour bunds have also given farmers confidence that whatever they invest in their soil will benefit their crops. When fields were not improved, whatever amount of fertilizer you added, all would be drained. But with the bunds, the water can't flow with force anymore. We are more confident. When you add manure, all will stay in place and your crop will produce better. Where fields have not been improved, the soil is red, but where it's improved, the soil is black and there's vegetation. Why? Well, the manure stays in place. Dead leaves remain, and the water cannot remove the small particles. What is given to the soil stays in place, and that's why crops yield more. Before, if you cultivated a hectare of maize or millet, you would get about 2 tons. But if you install contour bunds, you can get 3 or 4 tons when there is manure in the field. Apart from improving crop establishment and increasing yields, contour bunds have various other benefits. By growing improved short-duration varieties, some farmers grow a second crop by making use of the remaining soil moisture. When you grow early maturing maize varieties, you harvest earlier. After harvest, the field with bunds will still have some humidity. If you plant watermelon or other melons, they will grow well and you'll have a lot of income. Knowing their benefits, Let's see how easy it is to establish contour bunds. There are different ways to identify points that are on the same altitude level. Service providers use specialized tools to set out contour lines quickly at a low cost. Another tool that farmers can easily use themselves is the A-frame. The A-frame consists of two bars that have exactly the same length, about 2 meters long. A third bar is fixed across the others exactly at the same distance from the bottom to form an A-shaped frame. Local artisans in Burkina Faso make A-frames in iron and fix a water level tool to it, making it easy for farmers to handle. Once farmers have set out the contour lines in their own fields, they lend it to their neighbours. Sylvain and his family show us how to establish contour bunds. Explore the slope of the terrain and observe any signs of erosion. The first bund is made highest on the slope, as it's best to slow down the water flow there where it starts. Set out the first contour line 25 meters below the top of your field. Holding one leg of the A-frame firmly in its position, swing the other leg and position it until the frame is perfectly level. Hammer in a peg. Now swing the other leg of the A-frame and repeat the process to peg the first contour line. Once a contour line is laid out, smoothen the sharp angles to make it easier to plough the field. Plough the land by following the pegs along the contour line. On clay soils, plough 2 times at both sides of the contour line. Throw the soil of the outer lines on top of the first lines. Clay bunds will settle after the first rains and do not need compacting. On sandy soils, plough at least 3 rounds along the contour line, as sandy bunds need more soil to make them sufficiently strong. Sandy bunds are compacted so that the first rains do not easily break them. Contour bunds should have a base of at least 60 centimeters wide and a height of 25 centimeters. The bunds should cross your field from one end to the other and can be up to a few hundred meters long. So how many bunds do you need to make in your field? On steeper slopes, the bunds need to be closer together because water flows faster the steeper the slope is. On gentle slopes, establish your bunds every 50 meters. As water also flows over the surface in between 2 bunds, sow your crop on ridges parallel to the contour bunds. Each ridge will act as a small barrier, and water will more easily infiltrate in your soil. Leave the furrows open at both edges of the field so that any excess water can drain. Once established, bunds need some maintenance during the first 2 years. Close small holes with soil as quickly as possible before rains will cause more damage. It takes courage, eh? Because the first rain may break part of the bunds and you have to fix it. So it takes courage because every time the water comes, it will try to break this part. But if you have put stones there where the water has most power, it will reduce the speed of the water. As some of Tahabu's fields are sandy, he has strengthened these bunds with stones. He's also planted andropogon grass just above the bunds, where its roots strengthen the bunds. Its leaves provide fodder, and stems are used for thatch. Let any weeds or shrubs grow on the bunds, as their roots will strengthen the bunds. Your efforts will be greatly rewarded, both in the short run through better yields, but also in the long run. A few years after establishing bunds, trees may regenerate spontaneously in the improved fields.
You know, we women like trees and their fruits. We get a lot of benefits from the shea butter and the nere trees. Even if you plant a mango tree in the field with bunds, it will grow well.
In fields with bunds, shea butter trees benefit from the improved soil humidity. The trees produce well, and our kids eat its fruits. We collect the nuts and process them into butter. You see, the bunds help us in many ways. During the dry season, the improved vegetation attracts herders with their cattle that in turn fertilize your field. So contour bunds improve soil fertility and crop yields in many ways. And when you apply mineral fertilizers, these will have a much better effect in moist soils with ample organic matter. So, what have we learnt? Most rainwater flows over the soil surface and is lost to the crops. On gently sloping land, earthen bunds that follow the contours slow down the speed of runoff water and improve the infiltration of water. The higher soil moisture allows for early sowing and helps young plants to survive periods of drought. By reducing runoff, manure and mineral fertilizer is not washed away and benefits your crops. Therefore, contour bunds can double your yield. Contour bunds also favor the growth of trees that further boost the nutrition and income of the entire family. My dad, myself and my younger brothers, we did the work together and we have seen the advantage. So what I want to tell my generation is that they should make contour bunds, that they take courage. They will see its benefits. What I am asking my fellow farmers is that each and every one will make an effort to make bunds so that we can help our agriculture, support our families, and ban hunger from our courtyards.